Today's video very brief because it's cold out here in Colorado. I ain't getting any younger and the flu seems to be holding on much longer than I thought it would be. But what I want to chat with you today about is that as children, when we're first brought into this world, it is between a man and a woman. We are the product of love that was once between them. We expect, rightly so, that, well, they're going to protect us, they're going to love us, and they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that we grow up with morals, principles, and everything else. Unfortunately, as adults, we parents sometimes can't get along, and we will separate from one another, and that means divorce. I don't advocate divorce, but if it's in the best interest of our well-being, then sometimes that happens. Now, our children, on the other hand, well, we have to look at them because, as I mentioned, they deserve our protection. They need our protection. They need our guidance and love. But when two parents divorced, not always, but there are many times when one will go ahead and decide they want to get revenge against the other because of a failed relationship. Now, I don't know if that's because they're embarrassed, with their family, their friends or co-workers or whatever. I don't know if they are vindictive because, well, hell, maybe it's hardwired into their gourds. They just can't help themselves, or they were taught these things as children themselves coming from broken homes. Whatever the reason, they instill upon the children that lessons that should not ever be taught. What happens is that one parent may alienate the child from a parent. They will get them to forget who they are. They will go ahead and even in some cases instill fear into their minds. It just ain't right. A child is innocent. A child doesn't need to be brought into the adult world that we parents are in. All they need to know is that we love them and that they are deserving of our love. That we're going to protect them. We're going to do everything in our power to go ahead and make sure that happens. But for an alienating parent, for whatever reason, they feel the incessant need and desire to do these things. Well, as I said a day or two ago, parental alienation needs to be labeled a crime because it is not a crime just against us as the former spouse. It is a crime against our children when we do not do everything in our power to protect them. When we instill certain things in their lives that are not conducive to the love that the other parent can give them, it's nothing more than abuse. Let's face it, people lose parental rights daily all over the world because of abuse. And it isn't just physical abuse, it's mental and emotional abuse. And parental alienation is emotional abuse. We need to stand up and make our voices heard and let the courts recognize what they are doing when they allow these wrongful actions to continue. We need to get our legislators involved and say, you know what, enough is enough. By golly, we ain't going to stand for it no more. Our children are important because let's face it, when we walk into a courtroom and issues are decided as far as who the children are going to be with, these judges, these courts, they often say that it's in the best interest of the children. Well, show me on paper, how is it in the best interest of our children to remain with an alienator? How is it in the best interest to teach our children that our children should learn to hate us. I don't know. To me, best interest standard, when they make their ruling, a lot of times, they're nothing more than hollow words used to fill up blank space on a custody order. They don't mean nothing. If they did, they'd write them differently. They'd decide differently. They would go ahead and list out bullet point by bullet point of why they say it's in the best interest of the children to be with one parent or the other. Well, in the end, not always, but many times our children are the ones who suffer the consequences of it. We need to fix these things. Our judges need to get realistic in what their jobs are. They're affecting the lives of absent parents, targeted parents, our victim children. And I hope one day they wake up and smell the coffee, because the cup might just get turned over on their lap and they feel the sting of the heat. Until then, we absent and targeted parents, our children, are going to continue to go through the injustices that are inflicted upon us. Until then, all we can do is create awareness. And I hope you join me in doing that.